Hi guys, it's Harris. So in this video, I'm just gonna try to go through the spreadsheet that you will get from exporting your results from the Get More Queries function of the Topic Pro tools. So in this example, I ran the Get More Queries within Topic Pro tools for the keyword Doberman. And then I extracted about 100 something queries from it. This data shows you what those are, and then I will show you how to kind of use this or how to analyze this spreadsheet so that you can get the best queries from this spreadsheet, and then what kind of type of posts you need to write. All right, so let's get into that. All right, so I ran this, and then I got about 150 or so queries from it, and then you will see that there's tons and tons of columns here. Yeah, I know this can be overwhelming for a few of you, but this is the only way to give you all the data and then allow you to sort really quickly. So anyways, let's get into that. So you have forum and social kind of like a column. And then there's like an edu gov column, and then there's an authority column. Let's say you define a bunch of authority for your niche, and then you can pretty much see here how many of those are ranking for the queries that are showing that the system was able to find for you. And then this query here, query in title, is basically if all of these words are in the title of the competitors, it will show here how many articles have the title in it. So let's say, for example, is my Doberman underweight? So there's about three top ranking websites that have this keywords in there, or this query in their title. All right, so that's what it is for. So for the autofill column, this is basically when you get this query, for example, is my Doberman underweight? Or let's say, just for example, this one, what is the life expectancy of a Doberman, right? So this one, when you query the autocomplete, when you type this in, Google will give you about 8 or 9 of that. So the first autofill number here is basically that number, autofill here. That's 8 or 9 or whatever, or 7, it will show you here, right? So the second number, wherein I call it autofill score, is basically, the system going through all the 7 suggested autofill here, and then recursively going through all of that. If we can get up to 20, then it will show you around 20 something here as a score, right? So basically it tells you that, oh, there's actually more for that particular keyword that will match this particular query, right? Or similar auto suggest, whatever autocomplete is showing. So that's what the autofill score is. All right, so and then the next ones, starting from letter I to W, so this is kind of like the similar queries. So this one will always be NA, not applicable if you were able to use the get more queries function, right? This will always be NA because you're not defining them, right? So that's for the query tracker. It outputs the same type of rows, so you can kind of mix them together. But this one will always be NA for if it's generated, by the get more queries function, right? So, and it will also show you what the snippet of that particular query is. So that could be text, it could be video. I know there's list and table, but in this particular case, so there's a list here, right? And then what else? Let's see. I don't see any table here. So yeah, so it will show you the video. There's no text, or if it's text, what the texts are, for that snippet. All right. So and then what the URL of the snippet is. All right. So that's the snippet section, and then here there's basically five URLs. Those are the top 5 ranking websites, excluding forums, right? But it will include the EDUs, right? Let me see here for this one. Do we have an EDU here? Or maybe Yeah, so it will exclude the EDUs and GOVs here. For the authority, it will include the authority site. All right. Yeah, it depends on the setup. You know how you set up the get more queries function, right? So it will show here whether the authority is in there or not. All right. So yeah, so that's the top 5, and then this spreadsheet, wherein you can get it in the system, in the members area, is it will allow you to kind of compute the total word count of all the top 5 if it exists. You know, sometimes if you have a lot of forums, of course there's not gonna be enough. Let's say for example this is 5, so there's only about 4 of them, 4 top 5 URLs, right? So it will show here, and then it will compute the total number of words for all those, and then get an average for you, and then also get the highest one, the highest word count on all the top 4 or 5 websites that we're measuring here, right? So it will show you here, and then the system will eventually kind of like just try to estimate, okay, without considering anything here. If you were to write, you probably need to write a staple post for this one. This one, the highest is 1966, right? Word count. You probably need to at least write a staple post for that, right? And then for example, for this one, this is 2200. I would suggest that you write a pillar for that, right? So yeah, so the computation is on top, is in the column here. So you can look at the computation if you know how it works. Yeah, so that's how the data is, it's spit out, right? So now we go into, so how should you, which one should you pick, right? Which one should you pick to write, right? So first of all, I would definitely sort this by forums and by autofill score here, right? First, that's the very first thing you will need to do, right? So let me show you. All right, so let's say we want to sort this data, sort range. All right, so we want to do the forums, the highest to the lowest, lowest forums and social, and then the next one will be your autofill score, right? Not the autofill, but the autofill score, right? And then do that from highest to lowest. So when you sort that, so what essentially it's giving you is, all the queries with the highest forums, and then rank them by the autofill score. So let's say for example this one, right? What is the life expectancy of a Doberman, right? So we found out that there's about four forums or social for that, and there's an autofill score direct, 7, and then 22 autofill. So that is pretty good. It's pretty good. So you can potentially, off the back, just write a pillar post, and that should outrank this easily, and then rank, in the first page quickly, right? But let's say you wanna try to see if you can write shorter. You can look at the longest one right here. So this one is the longest one, 2221, right? This is the longest, and then just look at their URL, right? Is it exact? Their page is exact. You can visit it and read about it, right? Or just by looking at this, it looks like it's a type of Doberman, right? That they're talking about. So if you just do a life expectancy of a Doberman, like the title is like life expectancy of a Doberman, you could potentially write a shorter one and outrank this one. There's a chance, right? There's a chance that you can outrank this one, right? You can look at the second one too, Doberman lifespan, right? So, and then the rest, these are a lot shorter. So yeah, so you can assess based on that, right? If the highest one is not on point, and then you look at the article, it's not so good, then you have a good chance of writing a shorter one and outranking that one. And especially if you have a forum, then there's a good chance that you can outrank all of the top 5 ones, right? And of course the forums as well. All right, so that's one tip. So you can also, I typically want to do, let's say if you have a few of this, like the higher the forums, the higher the autofill score. Those are kind of like the nuggets, the best nuggets that you want to go with. But there's still other nuggets in here. Let's say for example, these are really long, right? These are really long. Let's say for example we go to the tree, forums with tree. So this one is not too bad. The autofill will reach about 12, right? You know, Doberman puppy won't stop biting, right? So if you look at this, oh, this one is actually long, 3,900, right? If you look at this one, is it talking about a puppy? Train a Doberman puppy to not bite, all right? So yeah, it's pretty good. You know, you can read it and then see, you know, if you think it's close enough to the query, then maybe, you know, you might want to avoid, you know, this particular article, right? And then, you know, you go through the list. Let's say, for example, you know, how to stop my Doberman from barking, right? Oh yeah, this is a very high too. So if you have a very high competition, then most likely you want to avoid those, right? And look for the lower one. So let's say, for example, oh yeah, just to remind you, all of this have an autocomplete, or somebody typed this in, even though the score is 0 here, right? So that it actually just means that there's only one, right? There's only one autocomplete for our Dobermans, you know, picky eaters. There's only one, basically. You know, people type that in, but that's the only one. There's nothing else, right, that shows up. So that's the kind of like, that's the definition of that column, right? So let's say, for example, let's go down. Let's look for a few more. Yeah, so these are really long. Really long. Doberman looks like it's very competitive, right? So yeah. So how about this one? Doberman behavioral problems. So there's a few autocomplete here. There's one forum, and it's only about 1,500, right? So that's only about 1,500. So there's a potential for you to write this. What is the 1,500? Yeah, so this one just talks about Doberman pinchers. So it doesn't really talk about Doberman behavior problems. So there's a good chance that you can write a easy response post for this, right? Yeah, so there's a temperament here. Yeah. So that's another one. That could be a good one. All right. So I wouldn't discount all of this, especially if it's lower. You know, you can potentially write this, but though, you know, the ideal case is to get the most, you know, autofill score here and the most forum. That's the ideal case. But, you know, to give you an idea, you know, this, you can get a lot of this from this already, right? So the other thing is, let's say, for example, there's no forums, you can still get some nuggets. Let's say, for example, this one, right? It looks like I got the highest to be 572 for some reason. You know, Doberman barking sounds, okay? So I don't know, for some reason it's only 572. I don't know, you could write that one, right? So yeah, so there's another 572. There's a 436 here. Oh, MP, sound effect. So this is actually sound effects, right? So people are looking for those. Yeah, so this is only 150. Sometimes if I get a competitive one like this, like very competitive one, I had to run it a lot longer, right? Maybe get to about 300, 500 before I get a lot more, you know, forums and autofill that I can write about. But the idea is to, you know, have this list, have a good starting point, right? Have a good starting point if you were able to run, you know, to get more queries for yourself, right? So, all right. So yeah. So that's it. If you have any questions, be sure to email me, or, you know, put it inside the in the system. There's like a enhancement or a bug section wherein you can enter the information, ask your questions there. If I see there's several people asking the same question, I'll probably create another video like this. All right. So yeah. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and good luck. Bye now.